happening, everybody? This is the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. My name's Harry and I'm here to give you the instant match reaction to the game that has just finished at the City Ground, where it has finished Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 1. I am definitely trying to still process my thoughts a little bit on this one, because for much of the game, Everton were the better side, in control on the road, nullified any real threat that Nottingham Forest proposed. And it looked like I was going to come on here and talk about a 0-0 draw and a very frustrating and underwhelming 0-0 draw. However, that's not the case, and the sun is shining not just where we are right now, but on Everton in general. It's a win on the road, and let's go back to the beginning and get into it. And we'll start with the team selection news. So there were 3 changes. Vitaly Mykolenko coming back in for Nathan Patterson. I mean, good to see him back. I thought he had another really good game. I think Mykolenko's gone under the radar quite a bit in terms of this sort of Dyche to David Moyes transformation of the side. There's a lot of names that get mentioned quite regularly, and I'd say Vitaly Mykolenko is one that probably needs to get mentioned a little bit more. By no means the best left back in the Premier League, but certainly night and day from the left back that we saw under the previous manager. So good to see him back in the starting 11. James Garner came back in for Tim Irabunum, and again, you know, Garner and Idrissa Gana Gueye are by far the 2 best players we have currently for that position. Whether or not we need to be getting better players in those positions is up for discussion, as many of the positions in the squad are over the summer. But Jimmy Garner coming back in alongside Idrissa Gana Gueye and looked comfortable, a little bit wasteful, which we'll come on to with the kind of the corner deliveries from him and Harrison and some of the free kick deliveries that were going into the box for Everton today. But good to see Garner back in the side as well. And then a change that we talked about on the Toffee Blues podcast, Beto benched for this one after a run of no goals, and Beto was on the bench. So Broja, was the man up front leading the line for Everton, and for much of the first half looked like he was offering something a little bit different, looked like he played well off of Doucoure, looked like he's a very different proposition, isn't he, to a big, tall, imposing striker like Beto, but definitely flagged towards the end, and I think the change of Beto coming on in that second half was needed. But 3 changes, 3 good changes, I think, for the game, and a good solid first half performance. Very little in the way of clear-cut chances, but Everton did very well. They looked very comfortable in possession. Nottingham Forest looked very happy to let Everton have a lot of the ball, very high in the Nottingham Forest half. We know that Forest like to play on the counter-attack, but Everton did very well, I thought, at recycling the ball. Every time there was a breakdown and a loose piece of play, they regrouped very well. I think Forest did help Everton out a lot in the first half. They didn't look totally comfortable, nor did they look overly clinical on the counter-attack. Every time they did look like they could break Everton down, they seemed to put in a loose pass or play a ball too long, and Everton were there to kind of mop up and tidy up. So very sort of lackluster in many ways. The game overall, I thought, was very stop-start. I think Craig Pawson, there's lots of fans that have very strong opinions on Craig Pawson. I don't know if I have very strong opinions on him. What I do know is that he very much was giving everything for both sides in that game. Very whistle happy, lots of stop starting. I mean, even in the opening stages, I think we, had a booking in the first 6 minutes of the game. So it was sort of setting the tone for what was a very scrappy game that was played very high in the Forest half. And then we get into the second half. The substitutions we've already half touched on. I thought they were good. I think David Moyes sometimes still thinks that he plays in an era of the Premier League where you can only make 3 changes, but we saw those players come back on. He seems to be quite now with the growing fitness of the squad and players returning to injury. We sort of see these patterns, don't we? So, Alcaraz came on for Iliman and Dye. Dwight McNeil came on for stoppage time, and what a difference he proved to make when he came on for Jack Harrison. And I'm trying to think now who the other change was, and people will be shouting at the screen who that was. Oh, of course, Beto coming on for Broja. So good changes, 3 strong changes. And in the end, I think the last change there, McNeil coming on in stoppage time, changed the game. So So we head into stoppage time. As I say, we're going to come on here now and start talking about how it had been a bit wasteful from Everton. A few chances blazed over the bar, poor corner delivery, poor free kick delivery, not clinical enough, and it looked like another game where we were going to say we were wasteful and rued our missed chances. But in stoppage time, Forest get their first corner of the game. They commit men forward for that attack. Everton break. There's a loose pass from one of the Forest defenders. Dwight McNeil does very well to get on the ball, drive it forward. It's a 4v3, and in the end they find Doucoure, who has time, he shows composure, and he puts the ball above Matt Sells in the Forest goal. 1-0, nothing like a last minute winner, and now Everton are up to 14th, at least for today, and they're on 38 points, just 2 points off that target that David Moyes set. But with other results in the league, with Southampton already gone, with Leicester not winning again today, and with Ipswich to play tomorrow, you would suspect now that we are another big step closer to this mathematical safety that David Moyes has been talking a lot about. So we've played first, second and third in succession in the league, and we're sat here now with 4 points from those 3 games. A good draw against Arsenal last weekend, a great last minute win on the road to Forest, and a derby defeat that could have very easily been a draw. So the revolution under David Moyes continues. I'm certainly quite happy now, sitting here on the back of a win in the sunshine. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below. It's just 2 league defeats since David Moyes returned in January to Villa and Liverpool. Aside from that, it's been a lot of draws, a few wins, and quite a lot of fun. Let me know your thoughts. Do make sure you follow us at the Toffee Blues on YouTube, on X, and I'll see you again very soon. Up the Toffees.